What's good with the YouTube? You already know Big Flocka with a convicts reaction where we smash, dash, and react. Please hit the like, subscribe, comment, do all those things to help support this channel. Hit that bell notification for future reactions, man. And so, as you can tell by the thumbnail, man, I'm gonna give you guys my personal, reaction to all the stuff that Goldtoes has been doing as far as signing, artists from down south. What my personal perspective is, what my view is, and maybe even a hypothesis of what other Northerners, Norteños maybe feel about that as well. I mean, I can't speak for the next band, but I can give you guys maybe what I'm going to assume a few may be thinking. First and foremost, I think when it comes to Goldtoes, I think he's the pioneer for the Chicano rap scene, hip hop, music, industry. And I think people should take note of the things that he does because he's a genius when it comes to this. Regardless if you like the man's character, you like his behavior, or some people love him, some people don't care for him. You know what I mean? That's okay though. I think that he's been able to have the right ingredients, formulate that recipe, and it's working for him. And he's always been able one that's going to evolve. That's what you think. He's never ever stagnated in the game. You know what I'm saying? And him signing rappers from down south, I think this is a smart move because I think he can show the people a whole different type of truth to what life is really about. Life is about finding your success. Life is about having no boundaries, not putting any limitations on what you do and what you plan to do. So by him having these interactions in business relationships, man, it kind of sets a bar for others to follow. And he's going to get a lot of hate from this. Of course, I just did a reaction to what Bozo had to say about it, man. And it was obvious that there was some animosity that he has towards people from up north. Um, this is going to allow people from down south to maybe touch base to different audiences, the Bay Area. You may start to have a lot more rappers met from up, not rappers, but listeners who are going to sit there and say, you know what, man, I'll check out these dudes from down south. You know what I mean? It could be a smart move all the way across the board. And it also may open the doors for those from up north to be listened to as well. So it's no longer about north or south. It's more about music, man. What's the common thing that has always been able to bring different groups together? Music. And it's about business. It's about making money. And as individual rappers, like I said in my last spill, where you can achieve in life is upon yourself. If you put limitations about who you could deal with, you may stay in the same position you are today, and that may not be in the position you could be in tomorrow. Evolving is always key in anything that you do. Complacency is just being okay with where you're at. You're going to stagnate. You're not going to grow. You're going to remain idle. And I think it's a good move. Now, that's my personal view. Because he touches base with rappers in Texas, all these different areas. And what's going to end up coming from this, and he's going to get hate for this, is he's going to be looked at as one of the first Chicano or Raza, Latino, whatever you want to label, distributors who was able to cross barriers that people thought would never be crossed. And at the end of the day, where does a rapper want to go? If you want to be a rapper from the hood and stick strictly to your politics, then stay with that, stay independent, don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? You're only going to grow so far. But if you want to have the opportunity to maybe hit other algorithms, other people who listen to your music, you got to open those doors, man. And that's why I say before that the music industry with all these rappers, they got to stop, worried about representing where they're from, their hoods and whatnot. It's cool to represent a little bit here and there and to be recognized as a representation of you. But let your music speak for you. And I think in doing so, you'll have a lot more rappers that are going to be able to succeed. You're starting to see a lot more of that coming from the rappers from up north. They're less talking about gangbanging, red banos and 1-4, and more they're just rapping. You know what I'm saying? Because if you start to talk about that kind of stuff, what ends up happening? You get to knock on that door. Now, how will some of these Northerners, Norteños feel about it? Some aren't going to like it. I mean, I think that's something that we understand. Just like some of the people from down south don't like it. There's none that are being vocal about it though. From up north, I do notice that. Like you'll hear interviews of other homeboys, Northerners, they never really refer to the Red Bano or Norte or any of that. They always refer to it as homeboys, and they don't really talk about their enemies as much in these interviews. They kind of keep the prison politics, street politics off of YouTube, off of social media. They still represent that they're homeboys, but they're playing it smart, and that has a lot to do with how the big homies operate. It's going to have all these people in check to where they're going to refrain from trying to mention, okay, yeah, North Day this, and this is what we do. It's all right to the heart. None of them are really doing that too often. You know what I'm saying? They're playing it smart. Their representation is done a lot more in subliminals and lugs. Now, there's going to be some who are very supportive of it. You know what I'm saying? They're going to look at this from a standpoint that what has been holding back the gente is that their inability to try to explore different horizons and work with different artists. Now, does this mean do I see a North and South collaboration coming anytime soon? No, I don't. Could that happen? Yes. I think the first ones will be more along the lines of those that may be unaffiliated, kind of like how Baby Gas collabed with Swifty Blue. Acito maybe messes with someone like that. It's going to be something to that extent, man. You know, if the numbers are right and they get the backing of the right people, you guys know what I mean by that, then it's going to happen. But there's always a lot of different things that are in play that we don't know about. Apparently, as you know, there's some weed shops down south, backpack boys. You know what I'm saying? You seen what happened when Swifty Blue talked about him. Next, he turned around and refrained from what he said. He took everything back. So that tells me that there must be some type of communications with the right people to where there's respect being given, and this is all looked at as more of a business, standpoint. Maybe there's other people who are out of loop. I don't know. Um, I listen to what's going on. I watch all these different videos. I watch a lot of people who are more pushing different agendas, and it's just an interesting thing for me to sit there and watch, being part of the mix at one time, seeing all these different components that are all there, and how everybody's playing chess almost. You know, there's been some rappers that have went back to labels as well. So where it happens from here, I don't know. But Goldtoes is gonna get some criticism from it. We know that. He's also gonna get some love. So this is not, to me, in my eyes, not a bad thing. It's a business move. It shouldn't be about North or South, and that's what everybody's turning in. When you're a rapper, right? You're not. You could be whether you are from this hood, that hood, or whatnot. That hood's not making you rap. They're not. They're not writing those lyrics. They're not performing them. That that label, that bandana over there, it's not. It's not writing those lyrics. It's not performing those vocals. The rapper is the musician. So therefore, people take out the equation and not make their music so much about fucking their hoods and gangbanging, but more about just their personal life. I think you'll see a lot more success with some of these rappers, man, because there's a lot of talent out there. I still think California has the better as far as those of Latino descent. That's just my personal opinion. But there's talent down south as well, and like anything, they're going to catch up as well. They're not going to just sit there and remain idle, stagnate, and not grow. You know, and look, everything's changed. Look at YouTube. Some of the stuff that people talk about is fucking crazy. And that's where I stand on that, man. Now, here's another surprise additional reaction I'm gonna do. Um, I was gonna do a reaction, right, to people that were commenting on a live that I did the other night, and so there were so many assumptions and insinuations, and this wasn't by trolls; these were by known subscribers. Now, this is how bad it got. That there were so many people who wanted to put a label and classification and try to identify towards me, not realizing why I did what I did. I didn't go on the live for fucking views. I didn't go on live for anything else. Now, maybe some people didn't like my reaction to the law enforcement. That's fine. I'm not really tripping off that, because if you knew what I was dealing with, it was a smart thing that I fucking went on a live instantly, because I was so fucking heated that night that it could have turned bad. And me going live for that brief 2 minutes to get them out of here was for my own safety and protection. Understand that. all that. Oh, he must be on Scott there. He must be this and that. You know, that was very disappointing that people would assume that without knowing what was really going on. I've talked to a few people behind the scenes, and me discussing what happened previously and why I was so heated. A lot of people understand it more so than other people who didn't. I didn't need to explain nothing. I'm not going to explain into it any further. But it was a disappointment that some of the people put labels or cell soldier man. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You don't know what the hell's going on. My whole point was to get them off my property, and I was just pissed off that night. You know, cell soldier. You tell someone to get the fuck off. If I wouldn't have had that phone and went on YouTube and told them to get off my property, and there would have been any discussions, it could have ended bad. That's where my mental state was at, and some of the shit that I had to endure. People forget about the live that was on previously. So I was real disappointed in some of the comments that I seen. And, you know, it ain't no joking matter, man. And so I see some of the people laughing on repeated comments, and I don't find that stuff funny, but that's okay. You know, I got messages. I had troll accounts, all kinds of stuff, and people don't even know the details of it, man. And it's just kind of interesting how people react and assume things without having any type of facts. There's a thing called proper R and I. Don't sit there and assume, because if I'm not addressing anybody before or after, you should know that there's something probably going on that is probably above your head that you guys don't understand. And what was occurring that night? It was bad. It was bad. It had me ready to flip my wig, and I did what I had to do to protect myself, to get the cops out of there. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have to sit there. And if I don't want you on my property, I don't have to sit there and be cordial or respectful to anybody. And it wasn't about me trying to disrespect them in any form or fashion. It's just anybody could have been there. I didn't want to do with anything. Get the fuck out of here. And that's where I was at. And I'm not going to apologize for that. No, not at all. You know, because I think if you knew what was going on before this and heard a lot of things and know what was being said, you may have a little bit different energy about how you feel about something. Right or wrong, oh well, you know what I mean? I have no problem with what I did. And they wouldn't have turned into that. Should have never turned into that. They should have never even been there. You know, that's just my whole, that's my view. You don't have to agree with me. You could have an opinion. But all the fucking other unnecessary shit, bullshit, man. You know, that's, I don't respect it. I don't respect people who sit there and don't know what's going on, who try to categorize or put titles or sit there and say this about a person when you don't even know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times if you wait, maybe there's a reason behind everything. With that said, it's Convict's Reaction. I'm out.